Hi, it's Melanie, and today I want to talk to you about my stance on supplements. So I have some notes over to the side. There's a lot of thoughts that I have swirling around in my head around supplements, and I want to lay some of those out there for you so you can get my perspective on how I use them and think about applying some of these principles and ideas in your life when it comes to deciding about supplements. So jumping right in. I definitely use supplements in my practice, and there's others of my not coworkers, but my colleagues who don't believe in supplements, who think that you should be able to get everything from food, and then there's other people who I think rush into supplements way too quickly and don't even consider food, and I'm somewhere in the middle. So I definitely use supplements in my practice. I definitely use supplements in my personal life. And at the same time, I really believe in the healing power of food. So how to make those two things merge and come together is kind of the question. How do we balance that? And when do we decide that supplements are necessary? And when are we trying to really use food? So I would say first and foremost that supplements can act as healing agents. They can help to correct deficiencies. They can provide support for the body and scaffolding where the body might need some extra support. So therapeutic doses of certain nutrients don't always come from food. So that's one thing to consider is are we getting enough of whatever nutrient it is that we're looking at from our food, and can we possibly? So magnesium is a really good example of this. It's been depleted in our soils, and even if you're eating foods that tend to be rich in magnesium, you may not be getting enough. So supplementing with magnesium is something that I talk to a lot of my clients about, and it's a nutrient that's very gentle on the body, and there's different forms that we can use depending on the situation. So that's just one example, but sometimes deficiencies can be corrected through food, and we actually need therapeutic levels of nutrients to be able to support the body in that, in coming back into a sufficient balance with that nutrient. So that's one thing to think about. And the other thing that I think is really important when it comes to thinking about supplements is that they're not a cure-all, and they're not something that you can kind of just overlay on top of whatever symptoms that you have going on. So say chronic pain or something like that. It's not just like, oh, well, I'll take all these supplements and herbs and whatever else, and that will, be anti-inflammatory and then reduce pain. And, of course there's anti-inflammatory supplements and nutrients and herbs that you can take, but that's not how I look at supplements. I look at supplements kind of as a second step, and the first thing is to go back to the diet and other things that you're doing in your life and look at, are you creating inflammation on a daily basis through what you're eating, and other obstacles to healing that are in play based on your diet or other things that are going on in your life. So like a lot of stress or lack of sleep could be one of those obstacles. So the first step in my book and all of my work with my clients is to remove obstacles to healing. And I've said this before, and I'm going to probably be saying it a lot more. But removing obstacles to healing is the number one thing that has to happen for nutrition and supplements to be effective in the healing process. So basically what I'm trying to say is if you're doing something every day that's creating inflammation, and you can't just take an herb that's anti-inflammatory to offset that. You really have to get rid of whatever it is that's creating the inflammation, and then you can also use supplements and herbs that are anti-inflammatory to quell the inflammation that has taken place. But it can't be done alone, and the first thing you have to do is eliminate all those obstacles that might be in place. So I've been talking really fast. I need to check my notes and see if there was something else that I really wanted to say. Oh, and definitely when you are actually purchasing supplements, quality really matters and the form really matters. So like we were talking about with magnesium, there are certain forms that can make your stool loose, and if you're constipated, that might be a good thing. And if you're not, it's not. So how the different nutrients are formed and how they actually absorb into the body and how they're utilized can make a difference in which one you pick. And there's supplements available everywhere, and usually the ones that I prefer aren't available in the stores. There's some at health food stores that you can get, I think, that are decent, but there are also practitioner-only brands, you can get them online these days, that are much higher quality. And so The one website that I really like for finding which brands those are is called pureformulas.com, and I can link to that in the video description. And you are going to be purchasing those at full price, whereas if you purchase them through a practitioner, you can usually get a discounted price, so that's one thing to know. And you can check on Amazon to see if you can find these similar brands, but that's definitely one place for looking for high quality supplements. You definitely want to make sure that whatever you are taking and whatever you are investing in is high quality so that it's going to be effective. So things to remember about taking supplements are, like we just said, make sure they're high quality, and you can't use supplements in place of a healthy diet, but sometimes they're necessary in addition to a healthy diet to support you even further and to create additional opportunities for healing. So if you have any more questions about supplements, or there's something you wanted to know about taking supplements that I didn't answer, please leave me a question in the comments, and I would love to have a discussion about that. And I'll talk to you again in the next video. Bye!